And to take your mind off of that, if you are, we have, well, who I think is the most brilliant actress today in Canada. She's joining us this morning.
Yes, she's absolutely. Yes, she's laughing.
No, I mean you.
She actually reached critical acclaim last year when she won the Genie. Are they upstairs into the? Okay, she won Best Actress in the film Double Happiness last year. Fortunately for us, Sandra Oh's success has not taken her away from Toronto permanently.
No, in fact, you can catch her here at the Factory Theatre January 31st for the opening night of the new Canadian drama Inquest. Please welcome Sandra Oh. Now, why did you start laughing when I...
Very nice.
You're just modest.
How are you doing? I remember the last time I was here, I was so sick. But now I'm healthy.
Yes, you were.
Lovely to see you again.
Now, you have a place in LA. You're doing some comedy this time, because last time we were on the show, we were talking about The Diary of Evelyn Now, which was extremely deep and dark and a very difficult piece to do. Now you're doing something called Airless, is it?
Yeah, it's called Arliss.
Arliss.
And it's an HBO comedy pilot. Actually, it hasn't been, you know, okayed yet, so hopefully it will be. And it's basically, it's Alice Larry Sanders, except it deals with a sports agent. So it's actually really, really interesting, because I don't really know that much about sports.
Makes it funnier.
It makes it funnier. But you end up meeting like great people like Shaquille O'Neal, you know, Bob Costas, you know, Sparky Anderson, James.
Sparkles.
I know, yeah. So I met all these really, really great sports people on it, and it was. And LA's been really, really interesting. Comedy's been the thing that, I don't know, people have been asking me to do, so.
We also saw you on the Genies, of course, presenting the award to Helena Bonham Carter.
Yes.
You won the Best Actress Genie last year, so you got to present Helena with it this year. Was that fun?
That was really, really exciting. I really, really like her work, and I can't wait to see the movie Margaret's Museum. So it was exciting for me, to be back home.
I heard both of you were just partying hardy and dancing up a storm. Sorry, was it the Toronto Sun, so I know it's true.
Dancing girls.
It's kind of nice to know that somebody whose work you admire, like, you know, yours and Helena's, are both very down to earth.
Yeah, well, she is. Yeah, she is.
Now tell us about what's happening at the Factory Theatre. This whole play, Inquest, you play a female police officer?
Inquest is a play written by Bill Harar, and it's basically based on the real fatal shooting of Native leader J.J. Harper in Manitoba by one of the constables of the Winnipeg Police. And it's about the inquest which ensues, and the 4 police officers who are, let's say, directly involved in it. The chief is played by David Fox. Lane Coleman plays the inspector. Myself, I play the sergeant, and Chris Marin plays the constable, who is the one who shot him. So it really takes you from the moment that the shot is done or shot, fired, to how the rest, all 4 people end up dealing with the consequences and the reverberations.
And obviously it was a very tragic event that happened to Winnipeg, but clearly we get the police point of view as well, and what led up to the shooting, the kind of things that go on. Is that really what the play deals with?
That's really what the play is about, is all these 4 police officers going through this inquest, from the chief down to the constable. So what happens when the top, whatever the head says, what the ripple effect that goes down to the rest of the police force.
Interesting.
My character, the sergeant, really, because of artistic license, we only have four players. I really play like the rest of the 4. So in real life, my character is based on around 6 or 7 people in the Winnipeg police force. But we all get together and we have to. There's like, you know, there's communications, miscommunications, incompetences happen, you know, but also the point of view of the media and the public's perspective on the police and on how police deal with, you know, Native people in Manitoba.
And the role it plays. Now, I have to ask, as we mentioned, you're doing stuff for HBO. Robin mentioned Double Happiness, and I know that you've just recently wrapped up another movie. What brought you back to the stage and more importantly, back to Toronto? Was it the challenge of the female police officer or the writing? Why did you want to do the live theater again?
Well, because it's really, I realized actually every year of my life, since I was around 10, I've been on stage at least once a year. So it was like coming back to that year-long point where I haven't done a play yet. So I remember I had to do a play. And Diane English, the producer of the Factory Theatre, called me and said, here's the script, here's the cast, do you want to do it? I read it and I'm, wow, it's a police thing. It's a police thing. Really got me was Michael Springate, who's the new artistic director. It's his first piece that he's directing, and the cast. The cast is the thing that really got me. To work with Lane Coleman, David Fox, and Christopher Marin was a real
Is it possible for an actress at your stage in your career to have some control over what you do, or do you kind of have to well, you're at the mercy of casting agents, you're at the mercy of producers, you kind of have to go with whatever job you're offered in a way. But some actors say, I'm not doing that script, I don't like it. Are you able to say that, or do you say that to things that are offered to you?
You have to. I think at a certain point, if you're able to exercise a certain amount of control, like you go on always trying to hold a clear path of what you want to do and what you don't want to do. But sometimes, I mean, I don't have a home right now. So I don't have a home right now, and I've been living out of my suitcase for the past like 8 months. That's just the way it is. A dear friend of mine who, like, you know, passed up a series in Canada here, is down in the States, has to do something that is something that he doesn't really want to do.
Got to pay the bills.
But he got to pay the bills.
Exactly.
So sometimes you can exercise that luxury, and sometimes you can't. But artistically speaking, I mean, I always try and hold firm to something that I want to do, or else you walk into it knowing that I have to do this because I have to pay the bills. I mean, that's just the reality of it.
Because you're a working actress. Okay, fantasy situation. You're loaded, and I'm not saying Sandra isn't. Okay, all kinds of money. What's your dream role? If we could offer you any role, what would you do next? Anything in the world, or portray anyone?
Well, quite honestly, I want to do Mina Shum's next film, Drive, She Said, which is now kind of tied up with Fine Line. So I don't know. I really want to do that. Anything in any Chekhov play.
Really?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
great choice. And just before you go, we know you're a great dancer. What else would surprise us about you in your off-camera life?
Off-camera life.
Tell us something you've never told anybody else.
Anybody else?
We won't tell anyone. No, go ahead, really. It's cathartic.
I have real troubles drawing my gun out of my holster.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Still on the stage,
Quite a revelation.
So this begins January 26th, I believe. Again, Factory Theatre. The previews begin on January 26th. It opens January 31st, and that's at the Factory Theatre on Bathurst at Adelaide.
Yes.
Sandra, always an immense pleasure having you on the show.
Good to see you.
Continued great success.